last time we start the discussion of the test we carried out to find the parameters related to the transformer. We discussed that there are two basic tests we conduct to find those parameters. Okay, one such test is the open circuit test, and other one is the short circuit test. Okay, in the open circuit test, what we are going to do is we keep the secondary winding or HV side open while we apply the full rated voltage to the primary. Okay, so then we measure the voltages and currents, and then using that readings we can find out the parameters. Okay, so the basically open circuit test is carried out to find the the parameters related to the core of the transformer. That means the core loss resistor and magnetization inductors. Okay, to find out those two parameters we use open circuit test. So like as seen here, so we can use these equations to find out those parameters. Okay, so we discussed last week this how we can obtain this. So then we discuss about the short circuit test. Okay, so in short circuit test also that is conduct to find the other parameters. That means the primary resistance and the total equivalent resistance referred to one end we can find out using this test. Okay, so we can find out the reactance as well. So both those two parameters can be found by the short circuit test, right? So we discussed that for short circuit test what we are going to do is we short circuit the secondary winding and we apply a small voltage such that the current in the primary is close to the rated current. So then we measure the voltage and current and the power consumption at that time. So then since the input voltage is very low compared with the rated value, the whatever the power dissipation is occurred at the resistances. Okay, so as a copper loss, so because there is a no load still connected to the transformer, but it is short circuited, so whatever the energy supplied or power supplied by the electrical supply is consumed or dissipated in the resistors. Therefore the copper loss should be equal to the power dissipation. That means P copper loss at full load should be equal to the WSC, that means power dissipation of the circuit transformer. So then we can calculate the we know the short circuit current ISC. So ISC squared, the total resistance is the total copper loss. Therefore from that we can find the total internal resistance of the transformer referred to the primary. Okay, because we are getting these all the parameters referred to the primary. We measured in the primary values. Therefore whatever we are the parameters that we are getting also the parameters which are referred to the primary. So same way, so you can use this equation also. The input power is given by VI cos phi equation. So then from that you can find the power factor, short circuit power factor. So then the reactance, if you divide the voltage by current, it gives the total impedance. So we already know the resistance. So then the resistance squared plus reactance squared, then if you get the root, that will be the total impedance. Okay, therefore voltage divided by current should be equal to this. So I already know this resistor from here, therefore I can calculate the X using this equation. So this is the impedance. So this is the resistance. So from this equation you can obtain the reactance referred to the total reactance referred to the primary. So that is how you conduct the tests and how we can calculate the parameters. Now since you have I explained the open circuit test and short circuit test, the parameters measured during open circuit test and short circuit test are given. Okay, so the open circuit voltage is 500, that is the rated value. So 1 ampere 50 watt. So low voltage side is open. Okay, so then which means the whatever the parameters you are calculating, which are actually referred to the HV side, whatever the side, HV side. Okay, so doesn't matter whether it is a primary or secondary. So the how you apply the equations are same. Okay, so if it change if these two are different. Okay, so if it is this is LV open and if this is HV short, so then you have to consider about what is the end you have to choose. That means what end you taking as a reference point. Okay, so since the both tests are done for the LV side, LV side open and LV side short, so the same equation directly you can apply and you can assume that LV side is the primary side, secondary side. Okay, so then HV side will be primary side and there's no problem, you can apply those equations. Okay, so then so try this example. Okay, so what you have to do is find the full load efficiency, voltage regulation efficiency at 60% load and load at which maximum efficiency and the maximum efficiency. Okay, so load at which efficiency become maximum and those things. Okay, so the other details are not given, therefore using these open circuit test and short circuit test you have to find the these parameters. Okay, so basically you have to find out if it is primary, R1E, X1E. So such things you have to find out first in order to calculate this. Okay, so now since you know the open circuit test and short circuit test, try to find out these parameters first. Okay, so V naught is known, V naught is 500 volt. Okay, 500 volt. So I naught is given as 1 ampere. So W naught is the 50 volt. Okay, if you recall the early equation, you can use V naught, I naught, cos phi naught should be equal to the W naught. Okay, from that you can find cos phi naught as W naught is 50. So this is 500, 1.1. So cos phi naught is known. Therefore, you can calculate the IC current as I naught cos phi. No. So then IC become 1 into 0.1. IC is 0.1 amperes. So then magnetization current IM is I naught sin phi naught. So if you find the angle and find the value, sin cos inverse 0.1, this become 0.995. 995 amperes. Therefore, RC can be calculated as V naught divided by IC. So V naught divided by IC is 500 divided by 0.1, which is 5000. 5 kilo ohm. So XM is 500 divided by V naught divided by IM. IM is 0.995. That becomes 500 to 0.51 ohm. Okay. Likewise, you can find the using open circuit test values. You can find the core components. That means core loss resistor and magnetization reactance. Okay. But for calculating efficiencies, they are not matter so much. So then we have to use short circuit test to find the other component. Okay. So as I told you, in the short circuit test, all the copper losses should be equal to the whatever the power dissipation. Okay. Therefore, I can write I squared RE at short circuit condition should be equal to this. From that, I can calculate RE referred to primary as 60 divided by the current is 10 square, 0.6 ohm. So then I can calculate the impedance or using the above earlier derived equation. So X1E is given by root VSC divided by ISC, which is the impedance, minus R1E square. So voltage here is 25 divided by 10 squared minus 0.6 square. This become 2.427. So now you know the resistor values, and then you can calculate the efficiencies using these values. From those details, find the full load efficiency. If you remember the equation for efficiency is V2 I2 or V1 I1. For full load efficiency, this is the kVA value. Okay, so then I can directly write this is kVA. So kVA value is given. So kVA value into cos 5 plus copper loss plus iron loss percentage. That is the definition of the efficiency. Okay, so therefore I have to find out the iron loss and copper loss. Okay, the first part is the full load efficiency. Therefore I have to find out the full load copper loss and PI. Okay, so from the core loss component we can understand the whatever this power dissipation in the open circuit is, that is equal to the W naught is equal to the iron loss. Okay, therefore it remain constant regardless of the load. Therefore PI can be calculated as 50 volt. Okay, so P copper is, I can write I full load square into the resistance. Okay, R1E. Okay, earlier I think R1E I found as 0.6 and other one as 2.427, right? So therefore so you can understand that this is the rated current. Okay, so this is the rated current. Otherwise you can calculate the rated current by dividing kVA value by the this is primary side, that is the HV side. Therefore I should divide by 500. Okay, so that means 5 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by 500, that is 10 amperes. Okay, which is again equal to the short circuit test current. Therefore I can write 10 squared into, this is 0.6, this is at the full load. Copper loss at full load is equal to 60 watt. Now I can use the definition to find the efficiency at full load. This is kVA value directly, that is 5 into 10 to the power of 3. The power factor is given as 0.8, 5, 10 to the power of 3, 0.8. The copper loss is 60 and this is 50. So I can calculate the efficiency at full load. The efficiency is 97.32. That is the full load efficiency. In the next part, they ask to voltage regulation at full load. The voltage regulation equation, VR, if you remember the equation, that is, I can, these are, since all the quantities are in primary quantities, I can write cos 5 and the power factor is lagging, therefore I have to use the positive side. Full load there, hence the value of the current is 10 amperes. This one is 0.6. Power factor is 0.8. Is calculated as 2.427, and sin phi, if you calculate, it will be 0.6. You have to divide by 500, then percentage. Voltage regulation becomes 3.87. That is the percentage. 3.87. Next thing, again you have to find the efficiency when run at 60% load. Okay, again I have to write down R1P again as 0.6. Efficiency when running at 60% load. So if the load is given as a fraction of full load value, that means if the load is given like X into I full load, the last time we derive some equation. So when you if you are using this equation, you have to prove it first. But here I use directly I say 60% equal to X times kVA cos 5 kVA cos 5 plus X squared copper loss full load. To 100%. So if run at 60% load, that means X is 0.6. So if I substitute it here, 0.6 times 5000, again power factor is 0.8. Another 0.8 should be there. Squared. Copper loss is earlier we calculated as 60. Iron loss is 50. This become 97.1. That is the efficiency at 60% load. Then next part is find the load at which efficiency become maximum. So if the efficiency is maximum, copper loss is equal to iron loss. Only then this will become the efficiency become maximum. So I squared R1E should be equal to 50. So I can calculate I as 50 divided by 0.6. So then you have to obtain the root of that. So that is the current at which, or load at which, the efficiency become maximum. the current is 9.128 amperes. That is the load current at which the efficiency become maximum. So then last part is to find the maximum efficiency. The max can be calculated as again using the earlier equation. Okay, so we found that I as 9.128 as a fraction of full load. You have to divide that by 10. Okay, so the fraction x become 0.9128. So 0.9128 times kVA 5000 and power factor 0.8, again 9.28 0.8 plus. So now the full load copper loss should be the same as the iron loss. Therefore, it should be also 50. Okay. Therefore, 2 into 50. So this is the full load maximum efficiency. The maximum efficiency is 97.33. Likewise, you should be able to solve the questions like this. So first thing is to find out the parameters of the transformer using open circuit test and short circuit test. So then the equations you have learned can be used to calculate the efficiencies, voltage regulation and other performance related parameters. Okay, again I want to emphasize you, if you are using this equation, okay, that means this is the x times kVA cos phi divided by kVA cos phi plus P copper full load, that should be x squared plus Pm. If you are using this equation, here also we use the same equation. Before using it, you have to derive it. Okay, so this is the not the generalized equation. Generalized equation is the for full load you can use. Okay, kVA cos phi, then kVA cos phi iron loss plus copper loss at full load. So this equation can be used. However, if you are using this equation, you have to prove it first and then only you can use them. Right? Okay, hopefully you did understand and you should be able to work out this kind of problem. So now, before that, we have missed some part. We have to do that. That is the this one. Okay, so usually we talk about the efficiency of the transformer, but not all transformers have a constant load all the time. Therefore, some transformers has the different loading conditions at different time of the day. if you therefore if you consider about the single efficiency of that transformer at particular loading, so which doesn't indicate the actual performance of the transformer. Therefore we have to use the other parameter to calculate the performance of the transformer, that means the efficiency of the transformer. The parameter for such transformers that we use is the all-day efficiency of the transformer. Okay, so it is again very straightforward definition. So the just one of the derivations of the that also derived from the our normal equation, that is efficiency is power output divided by power input. So here, since our loading is changed with the time, so what we are going to do is we are getting the total energy for 1 day, total energy for output for 1 day, and total energy input to the transformer all day. If you get the ratio between those two, so then we call the efficiency as the all day efficiency. Okay, so the definition is like this. Okay, output energy per day in kilowatt hours divided by total energy input per day kilowatt hours. Okay, so in other words, you can write the this, like this as well. Okay, out in brackets you can write kilowatt hours. Okay, kilowatt hours per day, that is also some measurement of the power. Okay, average power throughout the day, average input power throughout the day. Therefore since we are taking the average values, the considering energy also the same. Right, so it is a not big definition, just the we are taking the average values for one single day. We are considering the total energy per day. So then if you divide by 24 hours, that means the average power output at any given time. So then that average output input can be found as like that. So if you divide the average output by average output, so then we call the efficiency that is all day efficiency of the transformer. So this is not applicable for every transformer. For some transformers, they only have a full load for certain time, so then they run at no load. Therefore, so to measure the efficiency of that kind of transformer, we need to use this kind of method. Otherwise, it is not fair to use the actual definition of the efficiency. So with that, so you should be able to calculate the efficiency related to that also. Okay, so this is one example. You have to find all day efficiency of a 500 kVA transformer whose copper loss and iron loss at full load are 4.5 kilowatt and 3.5 kilowatt respectively. During the day, it is loaded as follows. Okay, for if you consider single day, the loading is changing like this. Okay, for load 400 kilowatt for 6 hours with 0.8 power factor. So then 300 kilowatt for 10 hours with 0.75 power factor. So then another 4 hours with loading of 100 kilowatt and 0.8 power factor, and for other 4 hours the loading is 0, that means the transformer run at no load condition. So then your task is to find the all day efficiency, right? So if you write the all day efficiency definition, that is the total energy. Okay, I say E out per 24 hours. Okay, per 24 hours. So this is E in 24 hours. Okay, the as like in efficiency also I can write this as E out. E input should be E output plus whatever the losses happen. Okay, so now kilowatt values are given. I know the number of hours of operation. So then clearly I can calculate the E out, no? So I can, if you calculate, E out is just the total of 400 kilowatt into 6 plus 300 into 10 plus 100 into 4. So this total value is 5,800 kilowatt hours. So I know the E out value. Okay, so the copper losses at and iron losses at full load are given. Okay, so regardless of the load condition, the iron loss remains same. Okay, so therefore I can calculate the iron loss. So 3.5 kilowatt, that is for 1 hour. So there are 24 hours, it remains same. Therefore even under no load condition it happens. So I have to multiply it by 24. 24 gives me 84. 84 kilowatt hours are wasted as in the iron loss. So then next thing we have to find out about is the E other loss is obviously copper loss. If I can find the copper loss, so then I can add the E out and E iron and E copper to find out the total E input. So then we can find the efficiency, all day efficiency of the transformer. So therefore my task here is to find this copper loss. Okay, so even though the copper loss at full load are given, so the transformer not operated at full load at all the time. Therefore I have to calculate the separate copper losses first, and then only I can obtain the values. So now let's try to find out about this. Okay, first let's write this E out as 5,800 and E iron as 84. Right, now what I want to find out is copper loss. Copper loss equation is, I can write I squared R. Okay, suppose we referring to some primary or secondary. Okay, regardless that I can write R squared like that. So then what I know here is power factor is known. Okay, at any given time I can write this load. Okay, if the load is P out at any load, I can write this single phase transformer. Therefore I can use V I cos phi. Okay, power factor also given. So I can calculate the I from this one as P out and the voltage, we can assume that the voltage remains same. I can write P out divided by V cos phi. Right? So if you know the kVA value also given, okay? So suppose the apparent power is given by S, so then you know that the S is S cos phi is equal to the power as well. Right? So therefore, instead of P divided by cos phi, I can substitute the apparent power. Right? Therefore, apparent power divided by V is equal to the current. Right? So now I can write for full load situation. So again, I full load squared R. Okay, if you divide this by this, copper loss full load equal to I divided by I full load square. Now from this equation, I can write S divided by V, that is the I, S full load divided by V square. Okay, from that equation I can write P copper should be equal to S divided by S full load square P copper full load. Okay, P copper full load is known. I can find the this reactive power, this apparent power using P divided by cos phi. Okay, right? Therefore, I can write. So you have to remember this equation then. Okay. But remember, you have to able to prove this and then use that. Now I can use this equation individually. Okay, so suppose this one is first load 1, load 2, load 3. So first I calculate the copper loss 1, which should be 400 divided by 0.8, 500 squared into 4.5. Right? P copper 2, that is 300 is 0.75 divided by 500, again squared into 4.5. P copper 3, 100 divided by 0.8, 500 squared into 4.5. Okay, if you calculate these values, this one become, right, This become 2.88. So this one 0.8 400 square. This is 0.21 281 watt. Now I know the copper losses. So these copper loss happens for 6 hours. Therefore total copper loss, copper, the energy loss as copper loss, E copper, I can write this 4.15 for 6 hours, 2.88 for 10 hours. So then 0.281 for 4 hours. So total loss is 56.92 kilowatt hours. So I can now calculate the whole day efficiency as the total output is 5800 should be divided by output plus losses. The iron loss is 84, copper loss is 56.92, so the whole day efficiency is 97.63. Okay, it is very straightforward. So only different here is we are not taking the power, but the total energy, output dissipation and input dissipation, and then get the ratio. So that gives the whole day efficiency of the transformer. Okay, so you are not going to calculate the power. What you have to do is you have to find the energy for 1 day, 24 hours. Okay, hopefully you understand that. So here is another example. So since you are familiar with the early example, try to work it out by yourself quickly. According to this example, 100 kVA distribution transformer has maximum efficiency of 98% at 50% full load and unity power factor. Transformer loading are as follows. Okay, so the loading is given, power factor is given, the duration at which the transformer operate at that particular loading is given. So 100 kVA for 8 hours with unity power factor, 50 kVA for 6 hours with 0.8 power factor, and for other 10 hours the transformer operate under no load. So how can we solve this question? It's very straightforward. You can do it as earlier. Okay. Here first you have to obtain the values for the copper loss, full load copper loss, and the iron loss. Okay, so the details given here is the maximum efficiency. If you remember the theory, at maximum efficiency, copper loss is equal to iron loss. Therefore, using that fact, I can calculate the copper loss and iron loss at the maximum efficiency. Maximum efficiency occurred at the half full load. Hence, I can calculate the full load condition, right? So, if you recall this efficiency equation for 98 efficiency, it is, I can write, if the proportion is x, okay, if the I is x times I full load, I can write the efficiency equation as kVA power factor cos phi x kVA phi dhana plus copper plus iron loss. Since both are equal at maximum efficiency, so x is half. Okay, half kVA is 100. This is that unit power factor. Cos phi is 1. Half 100. 100 means power 3. Okay. To iron loss. This should be equal to the 98. Iron loss can be calculated as using this equation you can calculate the iron loss. This become 510.2 watt. That is the iron loss. So half full load copper loss, which means x squared P copper full load is this much. Since x is 0.5, full load can be calculated as become 2040.82 watt. So now, since you know the full load copper loss and iron loss, you should be able to obtain the values. Okay. So now try to find the old efficiency now? Full load is 240.82 GIS 10.2. Now you have to find the energy out gain, energy in, that is energy out plus energy loss. So we have find the full load copper loss and iron loss is known. Therefore, I can calculate the total iron loss energy loss as 10 to 10 to the minus 3 into 24. So 12.24 kilowatt hours is the total energy loss per day as iron loss. So then next thing is we have to calculate the copper loss. Okay, so we have to separate calculate the copper loss for this load and this load. Suppose this one is 1, this one is 2. So copper 1. If you recall the previous example, I derived that the any copper loss can be written as the ratio of apparent powers squared into full load copper loss. This equation. You can use this equation because you know the copper loss at full load and the load is given as apparent power kVA value. So you can directly substitute it here. So PCU1 is 100 kVA in 100 kVA squared copper full load. So then which is 2040.82. Okay, you have to make it divide by 1000 kilowatt. So P copper 2 also can be found using the same equation. Okay, 50 divided by 100 to P copper full load. Okay, that can be written as 510.2. okay, so that is the same as half load iron loss. Okay, so that is the where the maximum efficiency occurs. Therefore, so this divided by 1000. So total energy loss can be calculated as E copper is 2040 into the 10 to the minus 3 into number of hours is 8 plus 10 to 10 to the minus 3 into 6 hours. Okay, this is the total copper loss or copper energy loss. This is 19.38 kilowatt hours. So now if I can use this equation, all day efficiency, okay, then now you have to calculate the E out also. So the here P can be calculated as P1 can be calculated as the apparent power divided by cos phi. Okay, so earlier also we obtain S multiplied by cos phi. Okay, so therefore 100 into 1 P1, P2 is 50 into 0.8, that is 40, right? Therefore 100 multiplied by 8 hours plus 40, no? 46 is again 108 plus 40 into 6 plus copper is this much, no? So it is 0.51 plus okay, sorry 0.1, that is 12 this value, okay, energy 12.24 plus 19.38. The efficiency is 97.05. Likewise, you should be able to do that. Okay, last time also in your past papers, this same kind of question is asked. Okay, was asked, and none of the students were able to do that. Okay, so therefore, please be study this part very carefully. So there are several kind of questions can be given relating the maximum efficiency voltage regulation and the all day efficiency. Therefore you should be able to work out any kind of problem. So with that section, the single phase transformer part is finished. Okay, so before move on to the three-phase transformer, let's do some questions first. Okay, okay, so these are three questions which are from all the parts we covered up to now. Try to work it out, this first problem first. Okay, I will do this. This is very straightforward. So at the primary requirement is we have to obtain 63 kV. Okay, so it is given that the volt per turn is we have to maintain 3 volt. Okay, therefore number of turns in the primary requirement is you have to divide this E1 by the number of turns. Okay, the volt per turn value. So I need 63 kV for single turn. Voltage is 3. Therefore, required number of turns is this much, 21,000 turns. That is for primary. So same way I can calculate secondary. Okay. So for both windings it is given that that volt per turn value is 3. Therefore, E2 divided by 3 should be also give the number of turns required. This is 240. 3 value is 80 turns. Okay, very straightforward. And then you have to find the required cross-sectional area of the core. So if you recall this equation, 4.44 frequency times maximum flux number of turns. Okay, the same equation can be written as E1 for F. Instead of maximum flux, I can write maximum flux density times the cross-sectional area of the core. So cross-sectional area A can be found by E1 divided by 4.44 F Bm N1. So N1 E1 is also again known 63 kV. For frequency is given as 50 Hz. Bm is 1.65 Tesla and N1 is 21,000. So you can calculate the cross-sectional area from this. Required is 8.19 into the 10 to the power of minus 3 square meter. Okay, the words 181.9 square centimeter cross section is required. So this problem is related to the very basic three equations. Okay, so the induced EMF equation of the transformer. Right. So now try this next problem, problem 2. A 10 kVA 2000 to 400 volt single phase transformer has the following resistances and leakage reactance. R1 is 5 ohm, X1 is 12.5 ohm, R2 is 0.2 ohm, R1 is 0.5 ohm. Determine the value of the secondary terminal voltage when the transformer is operated at the rated primary voltage with the secondary full load current and 0.8 power factor lagging. So this is also very straightforward. So what you have to find out about is the secondary voltage or output or load voltage. So when the transformer operated at full load current, full load secondary current and when we apply a rated voltage, rated primary voltage to the primary of the transformer. So okay, here what you have to do is first all the parameters required is given, so you can assume that the no load current is small, and hence you can neglect the core components. In fact, they are not given here, therefore even if you want, we can't consider them. Okay, therefore you can use the approximate equivalent circuit and neglect the core part, and then you can solve this problem. Since what you have to find out about is the secondary voltage, I recommend you to get the equivalent circuit, get the approximate equivalent circuit, refer to the secondary. So then your life will be become much more easy. First thing I have to do is the primary values are given, refer to the primary itself. So if you are going to refer from the secondary side, I have to make sure that they are converted to the secondary side. So R1 dash. So when you refer from second, first you have to calculate the K. Okay. So that means transformer ratio is the secondary voltage divided by primary voltage. Secondary voltage is 400. The primary is 2000. So this becomes 0.2. So I can now calculate R1 dash, that is the primary resistance referred to secondary. So when you are moving resistors from primary to secondary, you have to multiply by the transformer ratio squared, K squared R1. K is 0.2, 0.2 squared into 5. Again 0.2 ohm. Same way you can calculate the primary reactance referred to secondary. So again K squared x1, so 0.2 squared x1 is 12.5. Again it becomes 0.5 ohm. Now you can complete the equivalent circuit referred to secondary. Like this. This is the primary voltage referred to secondary. So this one is primary quantities referred to secondary. I already calculated as 2.2. This is 0.4 J. So 0.2. This is J, 0.5. So these are primary values. These are secondary values. So I don't know ZL. So the load power factor is given. This current is I2. So this is load voltage. Okay. So what you have to find out is the load voltage. So I2 is the magnitude can be found because they say that the secondary current is full load current. Full load current means that is the current, that is the rated current that should be passing through the secondary. So that can be calculated by, so you know V rated into I rated is kVA. Therefore, I can calculate the I2 kVA divided by voltage. So kVA is 10 kVA, 10 to the power of 10, 3. So voltage here is the secondary voltage, that is rated value is 400. So I2 is 25 amperes, right? So now I know 25 amperes. So the power factor is also known. So which means if I know the load voltage, so I can represent the load current I2 as well. Okay, therefore what I am going to do now is I am considering VL phasor as reference phasor. Okay, the power factor angle phi is cos inverse 0.8, right? That is 36.87 degrees. 6.87 degrees. So now I can write the I2 phasor as 25 36.87. Now I can write it is again another indication here that the primary voltage is rated value, which means V1 dash should be the rated value in the secondary, that is 400 magnitude. So I write suppose V1 dash as phasor 400 into angle, I don't know the angle, delta. If I can find the delta, so I can find the VB, right? So I use the Kirchhoff laws here. So V1 dash should be equal to I2 times total drop in the circuit plus my load voltage. Okay, I know this as 400 delta equal 25 into minus 36.87. Total resistance here is 0.2 plus 0.2, that is 0.4 plus J 0.5 plus 0.5 is 1. We don't know VL, right? But I know it as a phase angle 0. Okay, so now instead of polar form, I write it with the complex form. So then I can write 400 cos delta plus J sin delta. Should be equal to, this part become (23) plus J40 plus VL. Right now I can write the same equation as 20 actually 1 dash, yes, okay, 23 plus VL plus J40. So now I can compare the imaginary values and real values. Okay, so considering the imaginary value, I can write sine 400 sine delta should be equal to 40. Okay, so delta can be found as 10 divided by 400. This delta becomes say 2.00 angle. Okay, so now what I can do is now VL plus 23 should be equal to imaginary values, means 400 cos delta, right? 400 cos delta is 399.75. Therefore, VL can be found as 376.75. Angle is 0. Okay, angle 0. So that is the terminal voltage when you apply a rated primary voltage to the primary and at the full load condition. So this kind of problems you should be able to solve. It's also very straightforward, just little bit of the impedance conversion and the AC theory. Okay, hopefully you understand that part. This is the another problem. So write this problem. Write down this problem and do it as homework. Okay. So I will do that next time.